All right, we'll move on to our next school from San Jose State University. We have head coach Mike MacIntyre and player David Quessenberry. Coach, if you can give us some opening comments, expectations for the season, and then we'll open it up for questions.
Okay. Our football team is excited about the 2012 season. We feel like we were making progress. We're excited about our season coming up. We have a lot of very good football players coming back. They've played a lot of football. And they've been working extremely hard this summer, and I think they're ready to crank it up on August 3rd and start practicing. We have a good thing. We have 6 home games this year. Last year we only had 5. I think that helps us tremendously. 8 games in the state of California, so travel won't be that tough. I think that helps as the season goes along. So we're excited about our future and excited about the 2012 season. For any questions, I'm ready to roll.
Can you just talk about being picked third and how and where the program is now to where it was when you first took over and how?
Yes. From when I first got there, number one, we have a full allotment of scholarships, which definitely helps you. This is our second year with 85 scholarships, so we've been able to build up more depth. We're able to practice better. We have more guys out there to practice on the practice field, which is a big difference when it comes to football. And so that's helped us get better. We've had now for 2.5 years, we've had a year-round football program where in the past it was not that way. So the kids have gotten bigger and stronger. We have a phenomenal strength coach in Dave Foreman who I was able to hire after our first season, and I think that's dramatically helped us improve. And so I think all of those aspects, it's just a maturation process. And I kind of see us growing up before my eyes. And we're a better football team than we were last year when we started. And hopefully we'll prove that on the football field.
2 teams picked right ahead of you get to come to your place. So how big is that for you guys this year?
Well, we noticed that we open up with Utah State as our WAC opener, and we close with Louisiana Tech. And both of those teams have beat us the last couple of years. And we're looking forward to that. Those would be some very good games. They're very good football teams. Utah State and Louisiana Tech are very talented, very athletic, and extremely well coached. I think they're 2 of the top teams we'll play all year, period. And I'm really excited about having them at our place. Last year we went to Louisiana Tech, and that's a long trip. And it was a tough game, and then Utah State, we played in a snowstorm, which was a lot of fun for our kids. It went right down the wire, and so we're excited about having both those guys at home.
And then also if you'll comment about Travis Johnson being preseason Defensive Player of the Year and what he means to the Spartans. Right.
Travis is number one, is a phenomenal young man, and he is from a little bitty school called King's Academy. And he came out of there and just worked extremely hard, has a relentless motor. He's has a great knack of being able to get to the quarterback. But he's one of our team captains also, along with David. And he does a great job of just never giving up. In our Hawaii game last year, which was a dramatic game, he had some sacks and he did some great, but he blocked 2 field goals. And he just does things like that all the time. And he's the leader of our defense. He's the heart and soul of our defensive side of the ball. And he's also off the field. He's a great example for everybody on our football team.
Coach, overall, Scott Beil from Power Rated Sports, by the way.
All right.
Overall, you just talked about competing against Utah State and Louisiana Tech, who are ahead of you in the preseason picks for the media. You're probably in the strongest position that you've been in since you've been coach at San Jose State, and congratulations on everything you've been able to accomplish, by the way, up to this point. How do you think that you overcome those 2 obstacles going forward this season? And I know you're going with Utah State in the Mountain West next year, and how do you keep up that constant moving forward progress?
Well, we have a saying that David could probably say to you, we have written on the walls. The first thing I wrote on the wall when I got to San Jose State University is you're either getting better or you're getting worse. Nothing stays the same. period. And that goes for them academically, that goes for us athletically, that goes for us facility-wise. Everything that we're doing there, we're trying to upgrade at all times. So I think it's a constant process. It is a cornerstone of our program to always be getting better. And I also believe things don't just happen overnight, that if you build a good foundation, which we're building, that you will build something that will last and sustain. It won't just be a flash in the pan, so to speak, a one-hit wonder. And that's what we're trying to develop as a program. And so what we have to do this year is we have to go prove it on the field more often. You know, last year we kind of tasted it and did some good things and lost some heartbreakers. Now this year we got to consistently do that week in, week out. And I think with our football team, I think we're more mature. We understand that better. And last year I think they were excited when we won a game and thought it might just happen again. It doesn't just happen. And I think that the work process and the leadership that we have understands the culture of an everyday work attitude.
Bob Akamian from Idaho TV. Like everybody, you seem to have multiple quarterbacks.
Yes.
Going into the fall. It's the year of the new quarterback. How is that shaking out as far as what did you get out of spring, and how long are you going to let this go on?
Well, that's a great question. The positive with that is there's excellent competition at the position, and I really think that we are better at quarterback than we were this time last year. Now, Matt Faulkner had a great last 7 games of the year last year and played really well, was a great leader. You know, after our last game when we beat Fresno, the team actually picked him up and carried him around the locker room. That's what kind of leader he was. So hopefully one of the young men that we have step up this year will be able to take the reins and develop that leadership quality that Matt had. But I think we have I think we have 4 capable guys. I really do. That sounds crazy, but I really do think we have 4 capable guys. And we'll see after the first couple weeks of practice who kind of steps to the forefront, and then we'll go from there. The other side of it is if someone goes down, I do not feel like we drop off a long way, which I think keeps your team running in the right direction. And so that's good. And when the quarterbacks can all work with the first team some and be under the pressure and the competition, I think it helps them mature.
Has that changed a little bit too? If you want to keep them all in the mix, does that change how you stagger out the backup guys in one role? You've got your signaler. Do you have more than one of them signaling?
Right. We'll have a couple signalers. They'll be signaling on the sideline and working in. There might be packages that we'll have because we got a couple guys. All of them are a little bit different. So there might be some packages where we would run a guy in at different times to do different things because they've played so much. And the other good thing is the linemen and the receivers and the center and everybody's heard their snap counts and taking the snaps from them. Because a lot of times you worry about putting in a guy and you fumble the ball, in a flow of a scrimmage or a flow of a play series. But I don't think that will be a problem. But the young men are battling hard, and I think we got good, capable hands there. We'll just see which one comes out on top as we go through the process.
And David, can you talk a little bit about the line? Because you have a pretty decent amount of experience in that, just the confidence you have as a group that whoever it is, you're going to be able to protect and run block.
Yeah, well, we lost 3 seniors last year that were good players for us. But I think this summer and this offseason we've really seen some other guys step up. And I think the offensive line is going to be one of the strengths of our team.
And the reps that even the senior, besides you and Ryan, I mean, the other guys have had some reps and are in the groove.
I feel like we have 7 to 8 guys coming back that have played quite a bit. A lot of them have starts under the belts, even though you wouldn't be considered them the bona fide starter from last year. But quite a bit of them have had quite a few starts. And then, 2 of our guys they have started, 24, 25 plus games there for us. And so I feel good about our offensive line. And Coach Bernardi, our offensive line coach, is a phenomenal coach and has been a lot of places and has really molded the young guys. And the good thing about our program, where they weren't able to do before, is we've been able to redshirt a lot of linemen. And those kids have gotten bigger and stronger, and they've gone from – we tried to sign athletic guys like the guy beside me. He was a high school tight end worked his way in to be. We have 3 or 4 linemen on our team that were high school tight ends or defensive ends. They weren't just always linemen, and they have the ability and athletic ability, and we don't have any fat guys. We have a lot of guys with flat bodies for the first time, and so when we walk out there and they're taller and they're more athletic, so I think that'll all pay off for us, and we'll be able to sustain blockers, get to the second level better, which will help our running game. All the little things you don't kind of notice as much. I guess the best way for me to parallel that is last year we caused a lot of turnovers, fumbles on defense. Well, the year before, every time we tackled anybody, they were always dragging us. Last year we started knocking the ball loose and knocking some guys back, and I see more of those type of bodies, more of those type of guys now that they're not 18 years old anymore. They're 20 and 21 years old and been in our program for 2.5, 3 years. They're bigger and stronger, and we have more of them.
You know, one thing that Dick Tomei had to do and did well at was moving players around. Every year there'd be 5, 6, 7 guys that switched positions,
right,
usually for the better,
right,
because he took advantage. Have you found with what was left, and then as you're recruiting, are you focusing more on people in positions, or have you done the same kind of thing?
Well, we're trying to sign athletes, and that can, a lot of our guys are tailbacks, and our 3 starting linebackers were all high school tailbacks. And they're good players. So we try to do that. We have a tremendous amount of tight end type bodies, defensive end type bodies on our team. They've grown into all different spots. So that's what we try to do. Most of the guys we sign have played both ways in high school. I like that. I look for that. Because I know they have athletic ability and can do things. And if they're playing both ways, a lot of times they also can put on some weight because they've been so busy. But we're not moving guys around as much on our team now that we have enough scholarships. When you don't have a lot of scholarships, you got to find backups. You got to find ways to be creative. And our first year we did that. We had quite a few guys doing that. Coach Tomey's a phenomenal coach and was able to do that from time to time. But we're in a little bit better situation scholarship-wise now that helps us not be able to have to do that much, which really in the long run makes us a better team.
So you said two-way, so I have to ask, do you have any guy that conceivably could be a two-way player?
Yeah, Tyler Irvin could definitely be a two-way player. Just tailback, corner, kick returner, punt returner. As a freshman last year, he did play both. He's a very, very good athlete. He basically could start at both spots. Now, that's impossible to do, and he could start at kick returner and punt returner. Now, he's really a good athlete and just a phenomenal kid, great student, and from the L.A. area. So he'll be a sophomore, and right now we have him slated to go at corner, but if we had any injuries at tailback, he can move over there in a heartbeat. But he'll be playing both ways in practice.
And then he'll still return kicks.
Yes.
Coach, getting back to the quarterback position really quickly, is there any kind of a timeline you're looking at in fall camp to where you want to have a starter named by?
Yes, I would like to have one named after our first big scrimmage, which is about 10 to 11 days in, and after that scrimmage, we'll sit down, and that gives you good 14 practices before you play your first game type situation. So we'll name one in that time frame right in there.
Any other questions? All right, thanks.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.